Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Sean Austin again from Sean's Rabbitry and Aquaponic Produce, and we're back with another rabbit farming video for you guys. Now, over the past year or so, we've seen that due to the economic situation in various countries around the world, we've all experienced a steady increase in prices across the board. I mean, in material, building material, especially in animal feeds, utilities, all of these stuff. And in most cases, these increases are out of our control. So, as far as rabbit farming goes, one of the things that you have to start to focus on now to remain profitable is sustainability. Now, that's the only thing that's within your control to try and help restore the balance that you once had. So, over the next few weeks, I'm going to be breaking up this topic into a number of short videos, right, dealing with different areas of rabbit farming and how you can try to be more sustainable. So, today, what we're going to focus on is feed management. So, stay tuned, we'll be back with more right after this. Okay, we're back. So, we're talking a bit about feed management today. Now, as far as rabbits are concerned, proper feed is crucial to production, growth, all of that good stuff. Okay? Without feed, well, feed, when I say feed, I don't just mean commercially pelleted feed, right? Feed in general, right? Nutrients. What we need, we're really talking about it. You know, without proper nutrition, you're not going to be very productive, and we're trying to be sustainable. So we have to try and tighten up on all these different areas of rabbit farming to try and save money wherever we can, and that would help with us being profitable and remaining competitive and things like that. So where feed is concerned, I mean, feed is almost like a necessary evil, you know, especially in commercial meat production, where it's something of a necessity, pelleted feed that is, you know, if you want to maintain that standard growth time that you're aiming for to get your rabbits to market. So it's something that you have to cater for in advance. You don't have a choice, you're going to have to buy some concentrate feed, because if you can reduce your cost, of course, by using forages. But in my experience, if you're using just forages, you're not going to get the same type of growth, the same rate of growth as you would get using the commercially prepared feeds. So, having said that, feed is something of a necessity. So, I mean, one of the things you could think about doing is looking for a cheaper brand of feed. Now, depending on where you're located, you may not have too many options. I know for certain here in Trinidad and Tobago, rabbit feed is probably one of the more expensive feeds. So I know a lot of persons have tried varying their feed regime by incorporating different types of feed. Well, I mean, when I say different type, I mean feeds that were prepared for different animals. Like here in Trinidad and Tobago, we have feed for pigs, we have sheep and goat, we have horse ration, we have dairy ration, we have all-purpose feed, which is just the basic feed, and I know a lot of persons have switched to the all-purpose. I've tried it in the past, but I found that it has a very high corn content, which tends to induce some issues with bloat and things like that when that corn starts to ferment in the digestive system. So we, for the most part, have stayed away from the all-purpose feed. But if you are able to utilize another brand of feed that may be a bit cheaper without any negative effects, that would be one of the ways that you could reduce your cost. Now, if that's something you've done and it has been successful for you, it's up to you, but it would be nice if you could share that information with the rest of us so that maybe some other persons can apply it in their setup and benefit from it as well. So go down in the comment section now, guys, and tell me what feeds you're using and if you're getting close to or better even results than you were using the standard rabbit rations that we have on the market. Yes, and apart from just general nutrition, we're looking at meat production. You want to grow out, so your fryers that you're growing out for the market, they're going to need a certain amount of protein content. So the type of feed you use obviously is going to influence the rate of growth a bit. Okay, but of course if you're keeping records and you're weighing them at regular intervals, you'll be able to see whether it's a gain or a loss depending on the type of feed you use. As well as your nursing dose. All your nursing dose, they are going to need a lot of nutrition so that they'll be able to properly nurse that litter, producing enough milk for them and to maintain a healthy body weight themselves. You know, because while they're nursing a litter, it takes a lot from them, so you have to make sure that you're keeping their nutrition up to par. Right? Again, you have to be weighing your rabbits, so if you weigh your dose regularly, you'll see whether or not they're losing weight and if that feeding regime needs to be adjusted. Now, I mentioned this earlier, one of the other ways you could reduce your cost obviously is to use a lot more hay and a lot more forages to either replace or supplement the feed that you're already using. Now, when I say replace, I mean if it's a situation where the cost is just too much for you and you have to go fully on forages, then obviously you have to accept in advance that your growth time is going to be a bit longer, and if that's something you are willing to work with, then obviously that is a direction you can go in to reduce your cost. Okay, on the other hand, you have to have a steady supply of forage available, because then you're going to end up in the same situation again where you don't have enough nutrition for your rabbits. Now here on the farm, we grow a lot of forage. We grow a lot of different types of forages, but the main one that we grow is the Trichantera, and we feed a lot of that, and that certainly helps to supplement. But we use it more as a supplement and not as a replacement, because the thinking here is that even though they are on their regular volume of feed, commercial feed that is, the Trichantera is supplemented as additional nutrients and fiber in their diet. So it tends to kind of shorten the growth time. So you have it's either or. You either reduce the feed volume and go for a longer growth time, or you increase and try to go for a shorter growth time. Right? I personally prefer the shorter growth time because I think that it's more cost effective, seeing that the rabbits tend to grow faster during that early period of their life, that first 3 months or so. Once they get in adequate nutrition, they tend to grow really quickly. So we prefer to aim for faster growth and get them to market quicker and focus more on turnover. But regardless of which direction you choose to go, your number one priority, of course, is nutrition. That's the main thing. Whether it's your dose, your box, nursing dose, fryers for growth, your main focus should be their nutritional balance. Okay, as cost effective as you can get that done, that is the mission. Because remember, we're aiming for sustainability. You know, there's a limit in every area how sustainable you can be, because we are limited by the resources that are available to us. So within reason, of course, you try to cut costs in the area of feed management. Now, if we're looking at cutting costs, then one of the main things you have to look at where feed is concerned is wastage. A significant amount of feed is wasted by rabbits, especially if you don't have proper feeders for them. Okay, most people use the J-type feeders, but there are some J feeders that don't have that inner lip to prevent the rabbit from scratching the feed out of the feeders. Okay, for example, this is the feeder that we currently use. If you will notice on the inside, I don't know if you can see that there's an inner lip here. It helps to, it doesn't completely prevent it, but it helps a bit to mitigate the rabbit being able to fully extend their paws and scratch the feed out of the feeder, because you always have a few those that are a bit miserable and they will always try to, for some reason. I believe it has a lot to do with the dust content in the feed, because rabbits, they don't like feed with dust. So that is something else you need to look at. When we buy feed in bulk, and what we try to do is to not stack the feed too high. It's better if you have a wider pallet that you could just probably put 2 or 3 bags high and spread out the feed, rather than you have a narrow pallet and you have to stack the feed 8 and 10 bags high. What tends to happen is that because of the weight, the 2 or 3 bags to the bottom tend to compress a lot and the pellets are broken up. So when you open those bags down there, you find that they have a lot of dust in them, and that's not what you want. Also, I've heard complaints from persons that they bought bags of feed and it came with a lot of dust. That could also be part of the reason. So if you go to buy feed, always try to get the bags that are closer to the top of the pallet. If they have 2 stacks and one is almost finished, the last couple bags at the bottom, those are the ones that would have been under all of the weight. Try to get from the new stack, take one from on top. They may or may not want to humor you, but you should probably insist, because it doesn't make sense to get a bag of feed and it's full of dust and the rabbits just scratching it out and wasting it, because they're not going to eat the dust. Okay, so right, so we talk about reducing the amount of dust and also using proper feeders. When I talk about the using proper feeders, I'll give you a personal experience, because when we had just started, we didn't have money to buy feeders, so we improvised a lot. We got these soup strainers from a kitchen store, and we just removed the handle on the side. But if you see, it has holes at the bottom there, so the dust can fall through. So at the time, this seemed to be the perfect feeder. It was relatively cheap. It was just about $6 you know, which is probably less than $1 US. So they were really cheap. So we bought a lot of these and we have been using. We still have some cages with them, but obviously you could tell with this it's very easy for the rabbits to scratch the feed out of there. So we had a lot of wastage over the years, but there wasn't much we could do about it at the time, because this is what we had to work with, you know. So over time we invested in different types of feeders over the years, but this is the one we're using right now, and we've seen a big difference in the amount of feed that's wasted. You could always tell by the amount of birds that we used to see on the floor below the cages eating feed every day, you know, and it's reduced significantly. So that's something to look at. Okay guys, so that's as much as we're gonna say for today on this topic of sustainability. We talked a lot about feed management, and that's something that you should look at seriously. But remember, stay tuned for the remaining videos in this series. Now next week, please God, we're going to be looking at water management. That'll be the topic for next week, please God. That's provided I don't release another unrelated video between this one and that. But the next topic on sustainability will be water management, so stay tuned for that. If it's your first time dropping in with us, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, and don't forget to hit the little bell so you'll get notifications whenever we upload new content. If you found this video to be useful, share it with someone so that they too could benefit from the information. Again guys, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you all in our next video. Stay tuned for more. Peace.